Am I close enough now, John?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, you ready?
Excuse me. I think that I don't know. Go ahead. Never mind.
What?
Nothing.
What?
Just save it for the thing.
No. What is it? What do you want?
I don't want anything.
Yes, you do. You said hold on.
I
What?
just don't want to say anything stupid about my movies. You're gonna make fun of me.
That's how we're going to start.
That's how we're gonna start.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Welcome to the Four.
You're chilling in Mount Rushmore.
Giant wall of solid granite.
Yeah, we're not
We as Americans.
We're Americans. With a capital A.
God bless America.
God bless America.
Let the challenges begin.
There we go. Welcome into the Mount Rushmore podcast, the definitive top four of everything. I'm your host, Jonny Hartwell. Before I introduce today's topic, let me remind you that today's podcast is brought to you by Sleep Number. I love my Sleep Number bed because why? I can adjust it to my perfect comfort level. If you like it firm, soft, not a problem. In fact, I have a setting of 40. What is yours? Get your sleep mapping done at a Sleep Number store, and there's locations all over Pittsburgh. Find one that's closest to you at sleepnumber.com. All right, let's introduce my co-star, my girlfriend, my friend that's a girl. She's my lady friend, Christy Fitz.
Lady friend.
Lady friend. What do you, I don't know what to call you. Girlfriend?
I
Lady
know,
friend?
we're old. So then it's kind of weird to say
My
girlfriend.
old lady friend?
My old lady.
Yeah. Do you want me to refer to you as an old lady?
Please never.
Okay.
Never ever.
I'm going to write that down. Never refer to her as
Or-
an old lady.
And never as ma'am. Those are out.
Oh, I hate when you go to the store. Hi, hello, sir, and you're like, oh, really? I'm a sir. I'm
sir
at the
is much
the-
better. You can call me sir. I'd be totally okay with that.
No, you wouldn't,
Sure, why not?
because that would, that would make you dude. You're not a dude.
It's okay.
All right, so, all right, let's talk about our topic. Our top four music movies.
That's a hard one to say.
Because you can't say rock movies, because that would refer as to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and I can't imagine coming up with four
No.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson movies.
Nope.
What movies? Like, I don't like any of the Fast and Furious movies. I didn't watch Jumanji. I don't like any of the.
I have not seen a Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson
So
film.
we're talking movies that rock, or music movies, which would mean what? It would be like musicals. It could be biopics. It could be movies that have a cool soundtrack. It could be a movie that is related to music. I don't know. So those are the kind of, so it's whatever you defined as a music movie is basically. So we came up with our own top four list. Now, before we get into the movies that were you considered but didn't make the top four, let's go as far as movies that you like, music movies that you cannot stand, you don't like, or you don't prefer. Are there any movies? Like, I personally don't like the quintessential musicals. Like, I know, Bye Bye Birdie, and of course, The Sound of Music is a movie I cannot stand.
And I haven't seen it. I haven't seen a whole lot. I saw Chicago.
My ex-wife loved The Sound of Music.
We don't talk about her.
Can I call her the old lady?
Sure. She's really old.
Chicago, yeah.
I saw it. It was fine. But I haven't seen a whole lot of, excuse me, music movies like that, musicals.
All right, so we just jump into it then?
Yes, please.
All right, go ahead. Your number four music movie.
8 Mile.
Wow. You know what? I considered it.
Did you?
I really.
I'm surprised. I thought that might be one of the ones that you made fun of me for.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? No, it was surprisingly good too, because there are so many people who right out of the gate, when they become popular in the mainstream, especially in popular music, and they try to jump into the movies, it seldom ever works.
Yeah, I agree.
But that one is such a compelling story.
It is.
It's not a perfect movie, but it's certainly a movie that I had on my list of
did you?
honorable mention movies.
Yeah. Well, all of mine I picked are kind of biopic-ish.
Ugh.
I'm sorry.
I don't like it because I'm not a big biopic movie.
Well,
person.
these ones aren't real. I don't know. But I picked movies that stayed in my brain for days and made me think about that person and that person's life.
Mm-hmm.
So to learn all of that about Eminem was really eye-opening. I didn't know all of that. So that was cool. I that was like my intro to his life before his fame.
And I'm not a big Eminem fan, but there are some songs from that soundtrack that are definitely catchy. But what I really loved about it is that it was a compelling story. It was his story. He told that story and then stopped doing movies.
Yes, I agree. That was the best decision that he could have possibly made because the other ones would have been bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, my number 4 is a movie that starred John Cusack. It's called High Fidelity.
I thought you were going to pick that one. Well, I when I was doing my homework, I saw that one in the list, and I saw it, and I liked it, but I don't remember it very well, and I think that it would speak to you.
It's a dude rom-com.
Okay.
And there's not many dude rom-coms. Jack Black is hysterical in it. It's about a guy who lives in Chicago, has kind of a record store that is run down. It's barely making any kind of money at all. And his girlfriend or wife leaves him and starts dating a dweeb. And so there was a lot of things I related to that. But what I loved about that whole movie is he always has a bunch of lists, like his favorite jazz movies.
Oh, so that is very you.
Oh my God. I was like, this whole movie, John Cusack in the movie, I think his name is Rob in the movie. I was like, I am Rob. This guy has a top 10 list of everything. He has, his favorite guitarist, his favorite rock ballads. Everything. I was like,
I need
my
to
God.
see it again.
Oh.
We need to do that.
All right, we can pull that trigger. So yeah, that is number 4, High
Plus,
Fidelity.
we both have record store backgrounds.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, and I can relate to a lot of that. And there's always
I remember relating to that part of it, but I don't remember the film very well. So we definitely need to see it.
Your number 3 music movie.
Immortal Beloved.
Ooh. Oh, I don't think I saw that one. Is that about? Is that?
It's about Beethoven.
Is that Gary Oldman?
Yes.
Okay.
I love that movie. My heart it just breaks your heart into a million pieces.
I don't know what the movie's about.
His life, but it wraps into a love story about him, and gosh, it's been a long time since I saw that one too. But I remember how much I couldn't stop thinking about it after I saw it, and it's so sad. It's so sad, but it's so good.
Oh, I just want to
so
see it now.
beautiful.
It's sad.
I know.
It's sad.
I'm sorry, but it's beautiful, and
Really?
I loved it. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And you see him as a child, his abuse from his father, I believe, and so
Was he a child prodigy?
I believe so. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm sorry. It's sad, but it's so pretty.
Okay. Well, there are sad movies. In fact, my number 3 movie is a very sad movie.
Uh-oh.
A Star is Born.
Oh, yes, it is sad.
I know it's so recent. I was like, okay, is it the emotional impact that I'm still feeling from a movie that I saw 3 or 4 months ago? But I was so surprised of how well Bradley Cooper sang and Lady Gaga acted. Mm-hmm. And the whole story, it really is an intriguing story, which is probably why they've made 3 or 4 different versions of it.
Well, that's the thing you have to clarify too. It's this one and not the old ones that you, or is it the story?
I didn't see any
right,
of
you
those.
didn't see the old ones. But I know you went deep diving after we saw that.
I did.
And you went a lot of research and a lot of interviews and reading and stuff because it really moved you.
It did. And so I was like, yeah, I
it's
wasn't
a good
sure.
one. I didn't put it on my list because I think mostly because I knew you would. But I loved
All right,
it too.
I'm taking it off. I'm
No.
putting another one in.
Leave it
I don't
in
want to
there.
be that predictable.
Hush.
All right, so number 2. Your number 2?
The one you don't like, The Doors.
Ugh.
I loved that movie. I loved it. I thought his portrayal of Jim Morrison was so spot on. It was perfect. It was perfect.
See, I'm not a big fan of biopics. It's like The Doors and Bohemian
that one was
Rhapsody
so
and
good.
There are some intriguing storylines about it, but Ray is another one.
I haven't seen Ray.
It just
bad.
seems it seems like so carbon copy. They follow the same movie arc time and time again, and I thought the Doors did not move me at all.
I loved it.
I'm not a big fan of the Doors music either. There's a couple of songs that I love, like The End, and but a lot of the songs that people know and love about the Doors.
But he's like almost a mythical creature, though. He is so odd, and there's never been another person like him. And for Val Kilmer magically somehow stepped in and became him, I thought. I mean, he really, truly, I thought, became him. And it was an amazing transformation, and it was an amazing film, I thought. Wasn't that an Oliver Stone film?
Yeah, it was.
Which kind of surprised me, because he's notorious for being not the nicest director on the planet. But it's kind of a like a piece that he did out of love, maybe. I don't know, but I loved it.
Yeah, not a movie I was particularly fond of. So, number 2 for me was the Cameron Crowe movie Almost Famous.
Oh, I didn't put Singles on my list. That's silly.
What? What do you mean? Oh, you liked Cameron Crowe Singles?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I should have put that on there.
Well, you can scratch off the Doors, put the Singles in. I'll allow that.
You'll allow
no
that?
other movie, you can scratch off the Doors, and that's permissible. And I'll tell you why this movie talked to me. First of all, it spoke to me in that it's being in radio, I'm kind of on the periphery of the music business, and Cameron Crowe's character, I can't remember his name, but was like a 15-year-old kid who's just kind of on the fringe of everything, kind of witnessing everything, and I could relate to that kind of position, that character. And who was the
what is that movie called again?
Almost Famous. Almost Famous.
I saw it, but I don't remember
Kate
that
Hudson
one
was in it. I thought she was fantastic. And, of course, the soundtrack and the whole storyline was pretty cool.
Is it about his life and his?
Yeah, it's Cameron Crowe's story.
Yes,
it's,
okay.
Getting close to the music business and really kind of looking at rock stars and the good and bad of their personalities and, the hangers-on and everybody who is associated with rock stars and how they are on stage, how they are backstage, how they are in real life, and that whole it's just it's an iconic movie.
I think we need to revisit that one.
Oh,
too,
absolutely! I would love to
remember.
do that.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
All right, before we get into number 1, are there some movies that you considered putting in your top 4, but you're like, I don't know if I'm going to pull the trigger on this one? Are there any movies that like honorable mention?
No. The one that you thought that I'd have on my list that I didn't have on my list that I don't think of as a musical, which I guess is Nightmare Before Christmas, and I didn't put it on there, but
I thought for sure you would put it at number 1.
I don't know why. I have seen it 8 million times, and I do not think of it as a musical, which is silly because I guess it is.
Yeah.
So I just didn't think of it that way. I don't know.
Even when I said I thought you were going to put that at number 1, you still didn't put it in your top.
No, I didn't. No, because it's a totally different thing to me.
Because she's so defiant. No, this is my top 4. I'm not going to change it.
That's right.
It's The Doors. And I'm putting Doors at number 1.
Because I knew it would annoy you.
You know what? And is there any other biopics that you would have considered? The Walk the Line?
Yes, I did consider that.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you for reminding me. Because I did consider that. I loved that movie, too. I loved it. And
I'm a fan of Johnny Cash, and I did not like that movie. I just I for whatever reason, the only biopic that I considered putting in my top 4 was the Buddy Holly story.
That I haven't seen.
Maybe because that was the first biopic I had ever seen, and it was so well done and critically acclaimed and everything else. Another movie I considered putting on my top 4 list was A Hard Day's Night, but I have to admit I'm a huge Beatles fan, but I've never sat down and watched the movie from start to finish. I have probably seen every scene from time to time, but never at one sitting. So I was like, that's not really fair.
Is that a biopic or is it more of a documentary? Is it them? I've never seen it.
Oh yeah, no, it's a movie they made.
Oh, okay.
Yes, 8 Mile was another one that I considered putting in my top 4. Walk Hard, which is a spoof on all the biopics. Amadeus.
I thought that you might have that.
Really?
I really thought that you would have that on your list.
That is a really good movie. And then,
it took me a long time to see that film. I didn't see it when it was in its heyday. It was a lot later.
Another movie that I absolutely love, and it kills me that it's not in my top 4, is Pink Floyd's The Wall.
Why didn't you put it in there?
Because I like the 4 other movies better. So I'm
Gotcha.
going to put that at number 5.
I haven't seen that either. Boy, I've lived a sheltered life.
You know what is funny is I wrote in code, so if you saw my list, and I can't. And there's a movie that I can't figure out for the life of me what this movie is. All right, well, I'll try to figure out what that movie is.
Do we need to call Ringo? Does he know your code?
He only likes dog biscuits
and marshmallows.
All right, what is it? GMUN.
GMUN. G-Man. George.
I have no idea what it is. I have no. I know what it is. I know.
Good morning, Vietnam.
And because that was so influential in my radio career.
Yes.
Like I really, it came out when I first started, and when it came out, it was. Just a huge influence in my radio career, but I wouldn't put that as a music.
No,
movie.
no, it's not.
That's why. So that's thank
great
you.
Movie though.
All right, Christy Fitz's number 1 on the Mount Rushmore of her top 4 music movies is
Sid and Nancy.
Oh, you know what? I've never seen it, and I think that the story is fascinating. So I haven't seen.
All
it.
right, so we have like a quad of movies that we need to sit down and watch all together that we haven't seen.
Beloved,
like
what was the one?
The John Cusack one we need to rewatch.
High Fidelity, Almost Famous.
Yep.
Beloved. Is that the name of the movie? Beloved?
Immortal Beloved.
Immortal Beloved.
Yes.
And
now this one, because you haven't seen it.
And I love the story. I'm scared of the story, to be honest with you. It's such a depressing story.
It is. It's dark. It's very dark. But it's...
Is that also Gary Oldman?
It is. And that was not intentional. I thought, wow, I did it again. I'm narrow in my choices. But that one, it's dark, and that's why it stays with you. It stayed with me for a long time, and I certainly could relate to that rebellious attitude from when I was younger. And I think it's well done. It's another one that I was a little scared to see because I thought, oh, you can't ruin Sid.
Right.
Sid and Nancy it's iconic. That's huge.
Yeah,
for a person who was into that alternative thing.
Did they spend any time as far as his relationship to the Sex Pistols?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes. And the beginnings of their rise to fame, I always forget the guy who was their manager.
Oh, yeah. I can't remember his name.
I just want to say, is it Malcolm something?
Yeah, it is Malcolm. I can't remember.
Is it McDowell?
Yeah,
or is that
maybe.
the other one? There are 2 Malcolms and I can always mix them up. But just how it was insane. That whole time was so insane.
I'll just splice in the name, so we'll edit and post. It's Malcolm. Somebody. Okay, no, I don't. I know it. We should pull the trigger on that one because I would love to see that because I think that's like you said, it's an iconic story. All right, so my number one was so easy for me.
Really?
Yes, it was like I
have
this is
no
number one,
idea.
This is number one, and then all the other ones are way down on the list. Like
wow,
by
this
far.
is like way up above.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
This is Spinal Tap.
I didn't even think of that. I'm so silly. Wow.
It is one of my favorite movies, period, let alone music movies. And I saw it when I first saw it, it was in college, and it was at like a student union, and there was like 30 people, and they were all like these heavy metal people, and we were all like, ooh, because we had no idea. It was, pre-internet, so we had no idea what the movie was about. And people thought this was an actual band.
Yeah.
And so and people were leaving because they didn't understand the humor. I was such a Saturday Night Live fan. I recognized all the character, the people, the
Plus
actors.
it's Lenny.
And it was so good. I was laughing out loud at the end of the movie. I think there was me, my 4 friends, and maybe 2 other people left in
Really?
watching
People
it.
left? I didn't see it in the theater.
And all
so.
my friends hated the movie.
Really?
They didn't get it. They didn't understand it. They had no idea why I loved that movie. And what was funny is that was back in the day when movies weren't shown on. If you didn't see it on TV, if wasn't shown on a regular basis, if it didn't, you had no idea when it was going to be released on video.
Yeah, it could
and
be
even
a long wait.
And movies like that didn't show up at a lot of the video stores back then. So I hadn't seen it for like 20 years till I saw it a second time. And when
it's better the second time.
Oh, I was crying.
Yes,
I missed so much.
Because the first time you see it, it is such an introduction to that style. and you sit there and it's kind of like watching a train wreck because you're just like, do I love this? Do I not love this?
I do, and I loved every part of it.
And it's so weird. And then when because in the beginning, again, without the internet and things like that, when you see that,
right,
you're questioning it the whole time. Is this real? Like, even though, like, all of us grew up with Laverne and Shirley, so we knew Lenny.
Right.
And we knew he was an actor. But then you start thinking, do I really know him? I'm not really sure. Is this a documentary? Is this real? And then finally it registers in your brain like, oh, this is just silly. Like, this is meant to be silly, and it's funny.
And it was so, and nothing was written. It was all ad-libbed, and Rob Reiner, the editing of that film is amazing.
Well, as we established, he's a fabulous director.
But you know what? He hasn't done much in the last 2 decades, which is crazy because
I can't think of what he's
our
done
rom-coms, Harry Met Sally was our number one,
Right.
and this is Spinal Tap is absolutely my number
And Princess Bride.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so
Wow.
he is that's the thing. I think he makes very good choices when he does make a film, so that makes it good.
But he hasn't done any in the last.
I can't remember what the last thing is that he's done. Maybe we need to do some research, do some homework.
So what are your top 4 again?
8 Mile, Immortal Beloved, The Doors, and Sid and Nancy.
See, I don't know if we can agree on
I don't
a top
think we
4.
can.
I don't think we can. I think we should leave it at that. Those are our top
I agree.
4. Because if we try to get a definitive list, we
not
just
gonna
end up
work.
fighting, and I just don't feel it's getting late. We've already talked for 25 minutes.
Wow.
This is a long one. I'm sorry, folks. We'll edit so it's much shorter. No, I'm not going to edit. That's it. We're done.
Bye-bye.
Oh, I do want to mention if somebody wants I do want to mention the fact that if you agree or disagree, we'd love to hear from you. Email me at Jonny, Jonny, at 3WSradio.com.
Or if they have suggestions for what we should do.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's absolutely. Write us. We'd love to hear from you at just email me or call Christy. In case her mom is listening. We should do hair bands next time.
Shout out to Meme.
Hey! Welcome to the 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
All right then.